Hey everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on students.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 7 math, and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter exponents and square roots. And the lessons we're going to cover today are evaluate numerical expressions involving exponents, square roots of perfect squares, and estimate square roots. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. And I'm on grade 7 math. Chapter we're on right now is exponents and square roots. Let's just start with the lesson. Evaluate numerical expressions involving exponents. Let's just start with the lesson. Evaluate negative 7 minus negative 1 cube. Mm, Negative 7 minus negative 1 cube. So we have to learn the order of operations over here. The first thing we need to solve is parenthesis. Then you have to solve the exponents. Then multiplication and division. Then we have at the last we have to do addition and subtraction. So here we have the exponents. So let's the first thing we have to do is evaluate the exponent. Negative 1 cube means you need to do negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. So when we have the even exponent and we have the negative number, so the product, the answer is always negative. So 1 times 1 times 1 is negative 1. So negative 7 and minus negative 1. Adding the negative number is same as adding. So negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. The correct option is -6. Let's just start with the test questions. One cube plus -5. So for the first thing is you need to evaluate the exponent. One cube means you need to evaluate 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 1. Adding a negative number is same as subtracting. That is 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5 equals -4. Option number 2 is the correct option. That equals -4. The correct option is option number 2. That is -4. -1 times -2 cube. The first thing is you need to evaluate the exponent. That is -2 cube. That equals -2 times -2 times -2. That is -2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. So that is -1 times -8. So multiplying to negative number means the answer is always positive. So option number 2 is the correct option. That is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 8. -9 plus 2 cube. So 2 cube equals 8. -9 plus 8. So -9 plus 8 equals -1. That equals -1. Option number 1 is the correct option. That equals -1. -3 cube divided by -3. -3 cube equals -3 times -3 times -3 equals -3 times 3 is 9 and 9 times 3 is 27. That is -27. Then we have to divide it by -3. Dividing to negative number means the answer is positive. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number one is the correct option. 9 it is. Three minus negative 1 cube. So that is the first thing you have to do it is negative 1 cube. So negative 1 cube means you have to do negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. That equals negative 1. So 3 minus negative 1. Subtracting the negative number is same as adding. So 3 plus 1 equals 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Evaluate. 2 square minus negative 4. Square is 4 minus negative 4. Subtracting a negative number is same as adding. 4 plus 4 is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. 8 it is. 3 negative 3 square plus negative 8. So negative 3 square is 9 plus negative 8. So 9 minus 8 is 1. Option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is 1. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. By yourself, let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is square roots of perfect squares. Is square root 36. So to find the square root of a given number, figure out which number squared, like multiplied by itself, equals that given number. To find the square root of a given number, figure out which number squared multiplied by itself equals the given number. So you want to find the square root of 36. So figure out which number squared multiplied by itself equal 36. So 6 times 6 equals 36. So 6 is multiplying by itself, that equals 36. Let's just start with the test questions. So square and square roots, they both have the opposite to each other, right? So square 6 square equals 36 and square root 36 equals 6. So squared and square roots are opposite. Let's just start with the test questions. What is square root 81? So square root 81 is 9 times 9. That equals 9 square. So you need to calculate the square root. 2 and square root cancel out each other, so you are left with 9. So square root 81 equals 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the square root of 4? Which is the correct option? So which number multiplied by itself equals 4? That is 2 times 2 equals 4. So 2 square, the square root of 4 is 2. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the square root of 64? So which number multiplied by itself makes 64? That is 8 times 8 is 64. So square root 64 is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is square root 25? Square root 25 equals 5. 5 multiplied by 5 equals 25. 5 times 5 is 25. So option number 1 is the correct option. What is square root 0? Square root 0 equals 0. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is square root 49? Square root 49 equals 7. Option number 2 is the correct option because 7 times 7 equals 49. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is square root of 100? So which is the correct option? That is 10 times 10 is 100. So square root of 100 is 10. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is square root 1? Square root 1 is 1. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is square root of 16? 4 times 4 is 16. So square root 14 is 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is square root 36? Square root 36 equals 6. Option number 2 is the correct option because 6 times 6 makes 36. What is square root of 9? That is 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is square root 81? Square root 81 equals 9. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is square root 49? Square root 49 equals 7. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is square root of 25? Okay, you can complete what is square root of 25. So that is option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. Let me just move on to next lesson. What is square root 16? Option number 1 is the correct option. That is. Okay, we are done with the lesson. Let's just move on to Next lesson. The next lesson is estimate square roots. Estimate square roots. Which two integers are between square root of 21? So 21 square root. So the square root just below the 21 is 16. And the one that is just above the 21 is 25. So the square root of 21 is between 4 and 5. Let's just start with the test questions. What is square root 32? So square root 32 is between 25 and 36, right? These are the two numbers before 36 and before 32 and after. So that is between 5 and 6. Square root 32 is 5 and 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Which two integers are between square root of 21? Which two integers are between square root of 21? So 21 is between 16 and 25, right? So that means that is between 4 and 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. Complete the following statement. Use the integers that are closest to the number in the middle. Square root 33. That is 5 is less than square root 33 is less than 6. Option number 2 is the correct option because square root 33 is between 5 and 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. So square root 33 is between 5 and 6. Which in two integers are between square root of 24? That is between 4 and 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. Which two integers are between the square root of 51? Square root 51. Seven and 8 it is right because 49 and 64 are the numbers. With 7 and 8, square root 51 is in between 7 and 8. Square root 71 is between 8 and 9 because square root 71, the squares that are above and below the 71 is 64 and 81. So 71 square root is between 8 and 9. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. So we were working on grade 7 math. The chapter we were working on is exponents and square roots. The lessons we have covered today are evaluate numerical expressions involving exponents, square roots of perfect squares, and estimate square roots. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write down the questions in the chat box to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So you can please ask questions. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Any questions? That's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.